No,
difficulties?
it was to do with there was a Facebook outage, as you know, Kay,
Um,
and it was also the we had a technical problem on my PC. Anyway, we're all done. Right, it's 7:30 now, so I'm not sure if anyone else is intending to join us on the Zoom call, but the other parish councillors would. But anyway, for any residents who are now watching either on YouTube or Facebook, welcome. So we've got parish councillors, Russell Forgem and Kay Sawbridge and myself. We've got our clerk, Steve Bradbury. We've got Martin Smith, who's the broadband officer at Milton Keynes Council. And we've got Rasheen and Josh from Gigaclear, who are going to give us a presentation on the build out of full fibre broadband in Castlethorpe. So Rasheen, can I hand over to you and let you start?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for those that are joining us, and thank you very much for permission to join your meeting today. I'm just going to share my screen so I can get this lovely presentation up for you. Okay. So as I said, as Philip quite kindly said, my name's Roisin. I'm the Customer Engagement Executive for your area, which is known as Central. And I'm joined by my colleague Josh, who is also from Gigaclear and was previously part of the build team. I am new to this role, so he is just checking up that I'm saying anything, and he will fill any gaps as and when if is needed. So let's begin. So Gigaclear. We were founded in 2010 and we work with rural communities. You may have seen in some local builds around your area where we've been. But that would be in the Northamptonshire region, so Pottersbury, Poulsbury, etc. Everything we do is focused on enhancing your connection in a rural community. So our founder was a chap who lived in Abingdon in Oxfordshire, and he was working from home and he was getting a lot of lag. A lot of things were happening and he wasn't getting the right connection as was advertised. So he decided, why don't I just build directly to my property? And that was the birth of Gigaclear. We are now principally owned by Infracapital, and they're a leading European infrastructure investor. So in terms of your build then, this is just purely for commercial investment backed by Infracapital. And we plan, design and build the infrastructure for the largest rural FTTP, which is fibre to the premises broadband in most rural communities. And at point of presentation, we are the UK's fastest rural broadband. So we have built many communities now. So over 300 communities now have access to Gigaclear. So right down from Devon all the way to Lincolnshire and across from Hertfordshire, across there to Essex and Kent. And if you see your area there, we would consider you central. And we've got 42,000 plus customers, and this is ever growing. For a company that's, you know, just over 10 years old, this is a good thing, and we are looking to continue to grow. And that's why Castlethorpe was chosen as a rural community itself. So why should you choose FTTP technology, fibre to the premises technology? As you can see here, in the standard broadband ADSL, you've got quite a lot of copper wire, and you've got differing upload and download speeds. This is not a symmetrical network. And, you know, as we can see again, to the fibre broadband, fibre to the cabinet, again, lots of copper wire from the cabinet to the premises, and this is an antiquated system. With our FTTP, it's full fibre, and we've got symmetrical download and upload speed. So as we move forward, what this means for your community, it would be no lie to say that life has changed. A lot of people now working from home, and companies do offer the flexibility of hybrid working. So a lot more families are have the challenge of working from home. There's also the sense that people may be gaming or streaming. Me myself, I'm a gamer, and I have my own challenges in being able to get on the system whilst my partner may be working, and that's central Northampton. local businesses. A small example, I went to a rural public house, should we say, the other day, went to pay my bill using the tap payment, and the person behind the bar was walking around with the terminal trying to get signal in order to make the payments. This is why FTTP is useful and good to get those symmetrical downloads, uploads. Again, moving forward, for the greener earth and everything else, online banking won't want you to use paper. They want you to use the online chat. Nothing more annoying than being number 30 in the queue, getting to number 1 and losing connection. Again, keep it in touch, not just for your community, but for the wider community as well. You know, lots more people are depending on online web-based apps such as Teams and Zoom and WhatsApp to make these phone calls to stay in touch. So it's just ensuring that we've got that super fast, ultra fast connection to keep you in touch and up to date. So how we build your network here in Castlethorpe. So stage 1 is the planning. That's basically just walking around, having a look, number of properties. Stage 2 would be the design. So how are we going to go about that? Are we going to use existing infrastructure? Do we need our own infrastructure? And how are we going to move forward from there, making sure we can utilise what's already there? The validation is stage 1 and 2 just being ticked off, making sure everything is as it should be. And stage 4 is where Castlethorpe currently are. So we're mobilising the workforce, making sure we have the right teams, sending off permits to the council to ensure that everything's above board and as it should be. And once we've done all that, stage 5 will be the build. Now the builds take approximately 6 to 9 months. However, once that's all done, live and ready for service. So building a network, I'm going to just unshare for a moment. I'm not sure if you can see this. Can everybody see this?
Yeah, yeah.
This, if you can see it, this is the ducting we use. Now it's got 7 tubes or pipes in it, and this is to ensure it's future proof. So for whatever reason, if anybody else wanted to use this ducting, they can. However, we're quite in the lucky position in Castlethorpe where we're looking to use PIA, which is passive infrastructure access. Now, I'm not sure if you can see the graphic here, but this is the PIA here. And it goes direct, the fibre will go directly into your property and from the cabinet. This is a huge amount, and it's 85% at time of speaking is a great amount because it increases the, it minimises the disruption there for yourselves. And like I say, Gigaclear like to utilise everything at their disposal. So we will try and use the existing infrastructure there. Again, at the moment, there are no plans for the permits we will be or have sent to close roads. However, contractors will write to you, if not myself, will come into the area and let you know we're looking to close these roads. Of course, people do have lives and things to do. So if you do let us know, we will make sure that you can get access to where you need to be. So we're in a really good position at Castlethorpe where we can use the PIA existing infrastructure. Network access agreements. This is a thank you from me and the team at Gigaclear, because those who have got sent network access agreements, I don't believe there are many, but these have been signed and agreed. And this is one of the biggest struggles, I'm sure Josh will concur, with building these networks, getting these network access agreements. So those that have been sent one, thank you very, very much. It is a struggle. We don't anticipate there will be many any more sent. However, if you do get one, please do read them, please do understand them. And if you've got any questions, there's a number or an email at the address at the end, which I'll be able to give you. But again, thank you very, very much, because this is one of the biggest struggles we have. And I can tell the people from Castlethorpe are keen. A few things we'll be looking at. So the access cabinet, as you can see here, is live. However, the good thing about, again, the PIA system is that CDC cabinets, there should be minimal amounts of these because we are using the overhead poles. So that's a good thing about, although they need to be there, there will be minimal amounts in the Castlethorpe community. The connection pots here, 1 and 2, they lie on the boundary line. So if you do not have access to the overhead poles, there will be one of these just outside your boundary line. And if you do choose to have our service, the fibre straw here or the ducting will go in and go directly into your property for the FTTP. So as I showed you, the multi-ducting here will go into the ground and the fibre straw will be blown through. And as discussed, the overhead poles, which Castlethorpe are getting a lot of, up to 85%. So the good stuff for the good people of Castlethorpe. So it will cover approximately 450 properties. The build area will cover from Hanslope Road, Station Road, and across North Street and Wolverton Road. It will, of course, cross the railway there. However, those are the rough build areas that are planned. Talking to parish councillors, I understand that a few of you have noticed that surrounding areas have had Gigaclear and they have got that connectivity. So it is being from the Church End build and the Cosgrove build. The majority is going PIA, as discussed. That's using the existing BT poles. However, this can be subject to change. I'm sure you appreciate that whilst it's in the mobilisation stage, if we suddenly went up and there was something, you know, wrong or we couldn't get a connection, this would all be subject to change. Okay, but these are the build areas. We anticipate the build will start at the end of November, subject to change again and depending on those permits. And the main access cabinet will be live in Q2, and some residents will be able to order shortly after this point. So I believe there was a question that wanted answering, and it would be those that have access will be able to order shortly after Q2, and all works to be completed by Q3 2022, subject to change. Now, with the reinstatement, all verges, pathways and roads will be reinstated within 6 months of the build completing. Now, I'm not sure how many of you remember the Beast from the East, but if we're going from Q2 completion, if we were suddenly to get those adverse weather conditions again, of course, this may push it back a wee bit. So it's just dependent on weather, materials, location, and the type of reinstatement required. However, it will be done within 6 months of the build being completed. Everything distributed by our works will be reinstated as a specification for the reinstatement of the openings in the highway. Bit of a mouthful, but that's just making sure that we are keeping up to that specification. As part of these works, also, Gigaclear will audit the work done by the contractors, and we ask that the contractors get an external auditor to come in and check the work that has been done and reinstatement. So we're coming to the end of the presentation now, but here's a few useful links for you. So gigaclear.com/mycommunity. If you put your postcode in today, you can register for updates. I know a few of you already have, so thank you very much for that. And it will tell you when you can go live and when the service can be ordered. Gigaclear.com/help. There's a few questions that may be answered for you on there if I haven't answered them in this presentation. Gigaclear.com/home-broadband. This might not necessarily be as important for you now. However, it is good to see what we can offer, the different nodes we offer to ensure full coverage and everything else. And standard installation is free. And there are lots of offers on through the winter, through the summer, through the spring. So you will not miss out due to when your build's being done. And gigaclear.com/community-hub. This is a free 900 megabit per second service per build area, and that will run for 12 months. So that's useful for a community hub or a village hall or something of the choosing of the community if they choose to take this. A few small terms and conditions, but often now there are terms and conditions and a small application form to fill in. However, one community can get one service of 900 megabits per second per build area. And lastly, that just website there, one.network, is open to the public. and you are able to see what permits are live in your area up to 3 months, I believe, if you don't want to sign up. It is free to sign up, however, but that's where you can see our permits and where they will be. Again, road closures are a very, very last resort for us. It rarely happens. However, two-way signalling or one-way system or whatever it may be will be on one dot network for you. Okay, and lastly, if you did have any other questions that were not answered or not in our FAQs, feel free to email networkbuildcare@gigaclear.com. If you could kindly put the build area, which will be Castlethorpe, in the subject field, and we will be able to assist you a bit better, and any postcodes or anything else that you do want questions answering about. Our telephone number there also, we are UK based customer service team, so it's a local number as well, which is mainly free on landline numbers, and gigaclear.com is just our website. However, it's very useful, very user friendly, and it goes back to if you did want to sign up to our service and service updates, you can find it all there. So lovely, jubbly. So have you got any immediate questions that I can answer?
Okay, well, thank you very much, Roisin. That's very useful. Is it possible for you to send that presentation through to either Steve or me, and we'll then make sure that it gets posted so that residents can look at that presentation?
No problem at all. That should be fine.
Okay, Kay, did I see your hand up?
I was going to say, can you copy and paste those onto the Facebook channel? That was all the links and stuff.
Yeah, Russell will process them.
Yeah, that's.
But
you've answered the question, so.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank
Martin,
you.
did you want to have any questions on this? Fine. Search for the mute button.
Search for the mute button. Sorry about that. I've got a meeting from a council perspective with Gigaclear later this week to discuss some of the sort of the nitty-gritty of how we actually get this moving, and it was very useful to understand the strategy for PIA and how that is going to affect things. It might hopefully have less effect upon the highway network in Castlethorpe, which I think would be beneficial to everybody. But clearly, we would want Roisin and her colleagues to get in touch with our highways department as soon as possible to chat this through to see if there's any other issues. Other than that, it sounds very positive.
Lovely. Thank you, Martin.
Okay. Russell.
Yeah, I had a look at your FAQs and things. Can the network broadband providers that are listed there and on your website, are they the only ones that you deal with? You can't, for instance, have BT Internet or Sky or TalkTalk?
There's absolutely no obligation to go with us or our partners. If you want the service, you will be provided the fibre to go into your property, but there's no obligation.
Right. So you can have any broadband provider then?
Yeah, if you're currently with BT, you do not need to change to Gigaclear.
Sorry, I just need to jump in there. No, unfortunately, at the moment, we do actually limit our customer base to our wholesale partners. So FTTP is the network itself. However, the service we provide, and as an internet service provider, we do use a wholesale network. So as you've identified, Russell, you can go through a number of our partners as they're listed on the website. But the bigger players such as BT, Sky, they haven't come on board onto that kind of scheme yet. It is something we're open to dealing with, and we have had negotiations with Sky over packages and deals. However, as we're still a relatively small provider in terms of the larger players, they haven't quite taken us on board as a wholesale provider yet. But there is talk of it in the future.
Yeah, I'm disappointed at that because although your opening offer for the first 18 months is really good, by that time, when you then go on to the full price, it's quite expensive, and none of your other approved suppliers have cheap tariffs. They're all much more expensive than things like Sky and TalkTalk.
We do have recently a customer loyalty team that have been brought in because we understand that is important to people, and we as a young company still want to keep that loyalty. So if for any reason that does come up and 18 months comes, you're more than welcome to have a conversation with them. You know, we've all been there with O2 and said, I probably can do something with this. Without saying too much, I'm sure if you gave the customer loyalty team a ring, they'd be more than happy to assist you any way they can.
Right. And if they can't, and you have had your broadband, what happens then if you want to go to another broadband provider? Does the BT cable stay in as well as the Gigaclear, or what?
I can take this. So our network doesn't override BT's network in that sense. So you will still have the cabling there until they're instructed to take it down. So that there is a piece of legislation going through, or an instruction from government, the copper switch off of 2025-2026. So
and two more questions. What about phone landlines as well? Can they run on Gigaclear?
So they can't run on a Wi-Fi based or a broadband based service. So what we can offer instead,
I mean, using your cable.
No, they can't. So
my understanding was that in about 2 years' time, the normal telephony network is actually going to get switched off, and all telephony will be voice over IP. I mean, well, I can only assume you will provide it at that time, even if you don't provide it now.
So we can provide a VoIP service, as you say, a VoIP service, as a replacement to a landline, but we don't offer a telephony service in itself.
I understand, but it's VoIP. So VoIP is the future,
It is. We're moving towards that way. You know, I can't comment on kind of how we're going to move as a nation, but what we can say is, we are looking to move towards a VoIP service.
My third question, and this is the final one, is about the community hub. So we have a village hall which has at the moment 60 gigabytes super fast. If we had the 900 ultra fast, would that just be for use within the village hall, or what exactly is a community hub?
It's whatever you decide. So if you decide it's best fitted at the village hall, then that's fine. That would go to that community hub. If it a library, maybe, I'm not sure, but it's whatever you feel best as the parish, what would be best used and what it would be your best use for.
Okay, so that's basically just within the building itself.
That's correct.
Yeah. So there'd only be two candidates. One is the village hall, and the other is the first school. Really, that I think we've got. I don't think there's any more. Did you have anything else then, Russell? Or
no, that's it. No, thank you.
I think I saw Kay had a hand up again.
What about existing contracts? So if we're locked into a contract with TalkTalk, for instance, or BT for another like 18 months because people have just renewed, what's the position on that?
That's a difficult one, because of course we wouldn't want you to encourage you to do anything. However, we're not expected finished till Q3, which is 6-7 months away. So you never know. By that time, there may be a fantastic deal with Sky and everything else included. However, I would just keep your options open, keep checking back to our website, and once it's built, it's there. So even if you have got 18 months with another provider, that service will always be there. It's future proof. I've heard people say it adds value to your property, because once it's there, you're done, and it's then open for other people. There may be questions that people might not want it. However, it's that it will be there, and it is the future for fibre, for particularly rural communities.
Oh, I'm all for fibre. Don't get me wrong. Seriously,
okay.
I'd jump on it.
Right.
But yeah.
Russell, do you still have your hand up, or not? No. Steve.
Yeah. Just in case it didn't come out in the presentation, I did get the question that I brought up earlier about whether the installation will be big bang, or will people receive it? Will it be deployed over a series of implementations? And the answer was that it will be deployed to a plan. That plan is not yet known, but you will keep your website up to date with the location of the next area to be deployed to.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that link there, as I said, if you pop in your postcode, it will give you regular update. It will tell you when the service is live for you to order.
Okay, so I'm just hoping that that's answered the question that the gentleman raised.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is, and this is sort of from personal knowledge, that I know that up in Hartwell, they connected one part of the village quite a long time ago on Gigaclear, but it's still not got a live service. I mean, I think we're talking about 6 months or so ago that the road was done. So and the residents there do think that your intention is to wait for a big bang. I don't know. Josh looks as if he's about to pounce in on that.
I am, yeah, just about. So essentially, when we went over the tools of the trade page, you saw our access cabinet, the big live, big metal box, the green one. Essentially, that is what holds all of the connection points to your fibre. And when that goes live, anything that is built from that point will go live as that is. So essentially, we need to get your pot to a point where it's RFS or ready for service. And as soon as that's happened, all the relevant testing data has been received from the contractor, the cabinet's live and the feed is into the property. We can then register that property as RFS. The best way to get an update on the build or an update on your individual pot is to go and register your interests as a prospect on our website. If you get that done, if you give us your email address, give us your phone number, it means we can give you live updates as to kind of when you're going to come live or, when your pot is ready to go.
Okay. Talking about sorry, has anyone else got questions? No, I'll just run on with a couple I've got then. We have had some comments from 2 of the Northants villages about the placement of distribution boxes. One in certainly in Cosgrove, where they were a bit unhappy with where you'd put it, and I know of another in Hartwell where it's being put just where someone was expecting to expand his drive. So is it possible for there to be some discussion, where you are putting, where you are going to be putting these distribution boxes, just to make sure that they're not going to cause any problems in the future? I mean, I struggle a little bit to imagine where that would be in Castlethorpe, but yeah, you never know really.
Me and Josh will probably tag team this one. So as stated, it's mostly PIA. So there will be very little need for a CDC, the littler ones anyway.
No, I'm talking about the green cabinet equivalent, your distribution boxes, the big things, yeah.
I believe he's just a wee look for me.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
I'm sorry, Josh?
Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. I'm just pulling it up. So essentially, when it comes to our access cabs, they are a central point of the network, and the cable routing from that point is really important, so that they are, shall we say, tricky to relocate. We're not normally too open to moving them unless there is a kind of a serious issue in terms of health and safety or something along those lines. I can see that the access cab for this community is due to go on public land. Looks like out the way of anyone's driveway, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Can you tell us whereabouts it is, Josh?
I'd be happy to give the parish an update on that one. Can we take that one offline if possible?
Yeah, you can do, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Just a matter of interest, and I did invite the chairman of Hanslope Parish Council to join us. Unfortunately, he had another residents meeting this evening. He'll probably watch this on catch up. But is there anything you can say about Hanslope? Because of course we are linked to Hanslope Exchange. We're not. We don't have an exchange ourselves.
I'm quite happy for you to ask them to contact me, Philip, and say.
Okay.
Because as I am the customer engagement executive for your area, I'm quite happy to have a look at any difficulties that they may be having.
Yeah, because I think Martin actually looked at the put some Hanslope addresses in, and I think it did say the build is on the way or something. So I believe they are part of your plan at some point. So I'm sure they would welcome this kind of exchange for their own parish.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get him to do that. just to clarify, the letters that went round to all of us and talking about Northants funding, that is not correct, is it?
No,
It's
your build
purely
is
commercial build-up.
purely commercial. Yes, that's a mistake there. So I do apologise, and did give my apologies over to Martin as well. So
Okay. Right.
not the best first impression. However, hopefully we can build the trust with Gigaclear as we get the build moving.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. It's just as long as the residents aren't misled. So there's no public funding involved in this at all.
No, purely commercial.
That's great. Okay. Yeah, and obviously you'll liaise with MKC Highways about the TROs and so on that you'll need. So, I don't know whether Martin's in that loop or whether you go directly, but that's not for us really.
I'm going to be having a meeting with Roisin and hopefully somebody else on Friday, and we'll discuss all of these issues, and hopefully that will smooth the path somewhat.
Okay. Right. Any other questions for Roisin and Josh? No? Well, in that case, that only remains for me to thank you both for coming along, and you, Martin, as well, giving up your evening for us for Castlethorpe. No greater cause. I think to residents, I hope you've got everything that you need there. Please don't hesitate to contact any of us if you need any further information. Of course, you can go directly to Gigaclear and you'll probably get a better answer. But thank you very much. And we'll terminate the live stream. If you want to stop the Facebook feed, Russell, I'll now stop